out, different stretches of the game. Got to try to keep him, closer to, like I'd imagine 30 minutes, maybe 32.
Any other questions, guys? No? Dom, go ahead.
Again, I know Brendan Adams hasn't played the last few games. Is he injured, or is that just a coaching decision? You kind of decided the 8 guys you're going to go with at this point?
Yeah, just, it's the last couple games is just having Andre back and obviously having James back now and playing at times bigger lineup with Isaiah and obviously having some quality depth at center. He's got to stay ready though. He may find himself in an opportunity like Josh found himself in against Providence, and then you got to be ready to contribute.
Dave?
Yeah, with Book, was he able? I mean, obviously, is it really come down to just being a big difference between game shape and whatever shape he was able to stay in, even throughout his injury? Because I'm sure he was able to do some cardio and stuff. But does this kind of accentuate the difference between the two?
Yeah, I mean, you could run on the treadmill and do conditioning with the strength coach all you want, but the stress, the stress of gameplay and specifically the stress of that particular gameplay, with how challenging a game versus a team like Villanova is physically and mentally. It was, it drained him pretty good. And he'll get better, with every practice and every game. He didn't have much of a runway, until into obviously a game of that magnitude. So, he'll get in better shape, and then he'll also settle in, better as a player.
Charlotte?
Hey, Dan. With Andre, is he, I guess, with him coming back from that injury, just kind of to a point where you expected him to be, or what are you hoping, I guess, to get out of him these last couple of regular season games and to that point of being a freshman?
Yeah, I mean, he's realistically, I mean, he's early to midway through the non-conference slate for a freshman, just because of, the not being available in the preseason and then getting the risk during the season. So, he's gaining a lot of valuable experience. He's getting more comfortable out there. Like him to be more aggressive offensively, and obviously his length and his athleticism on the glass and defensively are real important attributes for us. But he's got to find a way, by attacking more when he gets his hands on the ball in transition in the half court, just to be more aggressive offensively when he's in there.
You had mentioned just his leadership kind of in the absence of James. How is that working with James back, or what's that relationship look like between the two of them?
Yeah, I mean, Dre brings just a real maturity and a real energy that's different than what James does. James, has got a swagger. And a confidence that he brings, whereas, Dre is like a really, is like, a real captain type with the way he communicates with everybody and just his energy level. And since James has been back, he hasn't taken a step back because, he's really good as a leader, even though he's just a freshman. He's probably our most vocal player.
Danny, Arletta?
Yeah, Dan, Georgetown's record's a bit deceiving, only 5-7 in the Big East, but 2 of those wins are against Creighton and Seton Hall, 2 of the top teams. I guess what makes them such a tough team to go up against?
I mean, they've really settled in terms of their rotation. They came back from that COVID pause and played really, really well. You know, Blair's a terrific guard, and you know, it's an underrated, you know, really, really challenging matchup for James defensively tomorrow to guard him. And you know, and he's an older guard that's a seasoned player that can really, really shoot it. Obviously, you know, Wahab, they got a guy that they can throw it into. You know, the freshman point guard has really, really stabilized things. You know, Pickett is playing like a guy that has, you know, NBA type of potential down the road at some point. You know, they're just, you know, they found themselves, and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. It's a much different team than the one that lost to Navy, and the one that struggled early in conference play. Like, these guys are, you know, it's a really good team, good size, and they all understand their roles.
Mike Mavrodakis?
Hey Dan, I'm kind of curious. Are you looking for some better distribution numbers from RJ Cole and Jalen Gaffney?
Yeah, I mean, I love just a lot of shot, you know, like shot creation coming from, you know, the point guard position, guys that are just pushing it in transition or attacking in ball screens or driving a closeout and creating offense, you know, for our shooters and for our bigs and our perimeter scorers. So, yeah, I mean, we want to continue to try to get more out of them. I think overall as a group, you know, we've got to take a better approach to offense. You know, I think we got caught against a really, really seasoned defensive team. We got caught standing around and watching James too much. And, you know, James is going to find his offense within the flow of how we play. He doesn't have to hunt it, and we don't have to stand around and watch him.
Dave?
Dan, would you say, you know, Georgetown's size up front and, you know, their ability to rebound and a little bit of a sort of a reflection of their head coach and how well, you know, do you know Patrick at all for the years, or have you got to know him at all over the years or even recently?
Just, I mean, a little bit through you know, seeing him in, you know, an AAU event, just always you're always surprised by his humility, you know, having, you know, what he's meant to basketball, college basketball, Big East basketball, New York, you know, the Knicks. I mean, you know, it's just his humility is always surprising. And, you know, and it's not surprising how they're playing or how they're shaped. I mean, you know, that they, you know, he's like, they're really well coached when you watch them, you know, when you watch them on film. You can see they do a good job of throwing the ball inside, you know, that they're defending better. They run some really good things for their perimeter guys. So, yeah.
Wayne?
Dan, when it comes to James' conditioning, does defense take more out of him than his offense does?
I mean, defense is always taking more out of James. I mean, he, you know, we just need him, you know, right now. Maybe we could try to play him in shorter spurts. He's got to be a two-way player for us. I mean, great players, you know, they're on the glass. You know, they defend people, and then obviously, you know, they're efficient offensively. And you know, like we need James to come back and be a great player for us, not to try to you know, put up these virtuoso offensive performances. You know, Tyrese and RJ, you know, proven themselves to be pretty good, you know, complementary scorers on the perimeter. You know, we've got some bigs we can get the ball to. You know, we've got some backup perimeter guys in Tyler and you know, and Gaffney and Andre. We have talent. he's got to be smart with how he uses his energy. But we need it at both ends of the court, and we need it again as a great player, not as someone that we need to come back and save us with just his ability to score the ball.
Mike, Mavrodakis?
This isn't really a serious question. I'm curious, are you a Manchester City fan, or is that just a t-shirt?
I got this a Christmas present.
Gotcha.
Christmas present. But I'm a big fan of Champions League soccer. I coached at St. Benedict's Prep, which is best high school soccer in the country, and Claudio Reyna, some guys that played there, Tab Ramos. So I became a soccer fan when I worked there. But I am a Man City fan. Excuse me. Oh.
Gotcha.
I'm a coach.
And Mike Crispino?
Hey, Dan, Blair and Pinkett played major minutes, plus 35 minutes each. Is there a way that you can use your depth to kind of try to wear them down a little bit in a game like this? Could that be one of your advantages?
Yeah, I think, in a game with a team with a shorter rotation, we would love to get into a game with a lot more possessions than we just played. I think we should have or could have been more aggressive, defensively over, try to speed them up a little bit more. I think, we were a little bit passive in terms of the way that we wanted to play it. And I think now with our depth being what it is, even if it means we foul a little bit more, I think that we've got to get after people at both ends of the court more and attack a lot more than we just did.
Take one more, Gavin.
Danny, are you still searching a little bit for kind of a consistent scorer off the bench?
Yeah, but that's I think Gavin, that's like it's hard to ask for absolute consistency. You obviously don't want it to be feast or famine. With bench guys where you're you're going to get high production and no production. I think we'll be settled in, hopefully better tomorrow. I think bringing James back in, it's like it's obviously we're desperate to get him back in. These guys that around him have got to play their game. Obviously, we have one of the best guards in the country that's returned, but we just can't stand around and watch him. Guys have to play their game and be aggressive, and obviously, we've got to do things to get the ball in his hands because he's so dynamic. But we're a really good basketball team, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are deep, and a lot of different guys can hurt you.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, I don't see any more. Is that it? Thanks very much, everybody.
Later.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Phil.